What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the grand finale of my Planet Crafter series. So we're going to do a world tour of the world that we have been building up over the past several episodes. But before we do that, I want to show where we started. So I created a new world. I set it to the relaxing difficulty just so I could have time to, walk around and explore without having to worry about oxygen and water. And let's see how we started this game out. So, yeah. This is where our base is in our real world. I went ahead and came up out of the starting crater or basin. But yeah, this is Anya's Lake before it had water in it. This is where our bio base should be. And if we turn around, this is where our main base is. And all of our nuclear reactors were over there. This whole area is surrounded with trees. But this is what the game looked like when we first started. Day one. Walk out of the escape pod into this red, barren nothingness. It's kind of amazing how far we've come, how much progress has been made since starting out like this. It's kind of fun to just walk around and see what the world looked like at the very beginning. And you can't even see, there's like so much haze, so much dust, you can't really see very far. I'm going to slide over here into the Iridium Cave because something that I never really went and explored or revealed early on is how certain areas of the map were actually cut off by ice. Because by the time I went to those areas, the ice had pretty much already melted. So if we come to the back of our Iridium Cave, we should see the exit that leads to Hot Lemon Valley is cut off by a bunch of ice back here. Somewhere. There it is. Got turned around. Oh, look. Oh, no, that's ice. I thought it was sulfur. So yeah, there's like giant block of ice blocking Hot Lemon Valley. It starts melting at 100 nanokelvin, which right now I've got no drills, no heaters, no vegetubes, nothing going, so we're sitting at 0 TI. Yeah, this is the world as it first started. So let me head back over. Ooh, I thought that was going to hurt. Let me hop back over to our base, air quotes, and then we'll switch over to our real world and just see how different it is. It's also painfully slow. No agility boost, no jetpack, just walking around like a caveman on an alien world. So let me pop some oxygen and water. So yeah, this is where our base should be. There's Anya's Lake, our bio base over there. And let's hop over to our real world and see how it compares. And this is the world as it looks now. So there's our base, our bio base, Anya's Lake, our energy, all these beautiful trees surrounding us. It's just incredible, the changes that have been made to this planet because of our hard work. Love it. And I just love the details of the actual terraformation process. Like the fact that early on, and you couldn't even see that giant crash ship in the distance because of all the dust and haze, but now you can see it clearly. And so just the view distance, the clarity slowly changes. The sky turns blue. You get all this moss and grass on the ground. It's just such a beautiful game. And I really appreciate their attention to detail as it changes over time. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to do a little world tour. This will probably be a much shorter episode than usual. I'll get a couple of oxygen capsules. I'm just going to throw all this stuff in here to get out of my inventory. We'll grab some water bottles just so we can stay out and explore a little bit and not have to worry about finding the nearest outpost. But yeah, this is our base. We started down in this basin over here. If we can actually go back to the very beginning where it all started. Our original little escape pod over here. Yeah, this is where we started the game on day one. We got our little crafting station, our little chest that had some oxygen and water and food in there. We stepped out to this ugly red barren landscape, and this is what we've got now. It's beautiful. So we eventually made our way out of this basin up to higher ground because we knew that as soon as water started forming on this planet, there was going to be a lake here, and we didn't want our base to get submerged in water. So we moved up here. We went through a couple iterations of our base, just a couple different designs, eventually growing it, making it bigger, moving it around a little bit. And I'm really happy with what we got. This little room right here where I've been keeping my food, I think this was actually part of my original base design. And we eventually built a launch pad, built this giant tower with our command center up top, eventually extended our storage and built a proper little storage area out here, which we never even came close to filling up. This is a really good storage room. I was really happy with this. And then what I kind of feel like is the crown jewel of this base is this beautiful bio base. I love this area. We've got our tier 1 biodome. We've got 2 tier 2 biodomes. We've got our bio lab. We've got this food area up top where we've been growing all of our eggplant and mushroom and squash that's used for our different crafting recipes. We've got a bunch of storage inside to keep all of our methane and our bacteria samples and our water. We've got our DNA manipulator to make all of our tree seeds. This is just a really cool base. I love all the windows, the visibility. Yeah, I can just keep going on about all the stuff that I love about this little bio base. This being able to build these structures, getting these blueprints, is one of my favorite parts of the game. All right, so let's head out and we'll do a little bit of exploration, seeing the world that we've created. We've got all these beautiful trees surrounding our base. I intentionally kept them far away from my base because I learned from previous playthroughs that if you put these things too close, you're going to have trees not sticking up through the structures, but just all around your structures. You're going to have trees like blocking entrances and stuff, and you just kind of lose the base in the forest. And so I intentionally kept all my tree spreaders a good distance away from my base, but filled in this area with lots of grass spreaders, flower spreaders, so we had that vegetation, that life. And I am really happy with it. It looks so good. I tried to get a good variety of trees immediately around our base. Our very first tree spreaders, we seeded them with these tree seed pleoms, which are our upgraded golden seeds that give you the highest oxygen boost. But then we started replacing some of them with other tree seed varieties just so we didn't have the same trees everywhere. Over here is Jacob's Valley, where we got not all, but a lot of our aluminum. We also got a lot of aluminum just from chests that we found around the world. We threw an advanced crafting station over here because we had so much aluminum that we really didn't need this, and so we used this to make super alloy. We'd come over here, get all of our aluminum and other ores out of there, hop over to our crafting station, and just turn as much of it as we could into super alloy, and we take that back to our base. That was before we got the tier 2 ore extractor and could actually start mining super alloy from the super alloy cave. We keep heading back this way a little ways. We built a number of these little outposts around the world just so we could pop in for oxygen, but some of them we put some food and water in a little storage crate in there just in case we're out exploring and started to run low on those. We didn't have to go all the way back to our base to get them, and we didn't have to carry food and water in our inventory at all times. I tried to mark all of these with a little red beacon, so as we look around you can see little red beacons here and there, and those are all the different places where we can stop in to get food and water. It's a really good idea as you're playing this game to do that and to mark where you can survive if you're running low on those things. This little valley over here, I hate this place. I really do. It's just ugly. It's got this dark red haze so you can't see anything even this late in the game. There's all these spires that make it really hard to build, so I just try to avoid this place. Alright, let's go through this little canyon over towards our green beacon. which was our original uranium mine. This is where we got our very first uranium, and we may have gotten a couple pieces from different chests scattered around, but this is where we came and collected our first uranium. Oh, there's missed some. Which we needed to, I think it was launch rockets. We needed some uranium to start launching rockets, to make rocket engines. And those rockets, man, that's why we got to where we did in this game so fast. Launching all those rockets, boosting our multipliers, our rates for oxygen and heat and pressure. There's not really a whole lot that we did back behind this area. There's a couple little sort of holes in the ground, which I'm glad that we explored these, because the purple one over there, we found a nice little pulsar quartz cave long before we could actually make our own pulsar quartz. And that was a lifesaver. I don't know what we would have done if we hadn't found this place. We cleaned it out pretty good. I didn't realize that this would fill up with water, so I'm glad we found it when we did. But the pulsar quartz that we found in here allowed us to build our first nuclear fusion generator, and eventually our first 2 teleporters to get around the map a lot more easily. There was another pulsar quartz cave to the west that I also didn't know about. That was also a huge relief, because the pulsar quartz blueprint comes so much later in the game. So much later after the recipes that require it, which I find very odd. I don't know why they did that. But maybe that's why those pulsar quartz caves exist, is so you can start to use those recipes before you can craft the quartz yourself. We'll pop into another one of our little outposts over here. This Stargate is beautiful. I love the way this looks, especially once you start getting all these different ferns and trees that grow around it. These trees, I didn't plant these. They're not coming from my tree spreader. This is just something that grows in this area late enough in the game. It's really cool. Over here we've got, I believe this is Mike's Canyon. Yes. And we didn't really do much over here. There was an osmium cave in this area that we came and explored to get a lot more osmium before we could start to drill it ourselves. And then we built a couple of tree spreaders over here, because it looks really cool having this whole area filled in with trees at the bottom, but the tree spreaders are all up on top. And so that was actually Mike's idea, which is why this was Mike's Canyon. And I don't know that we've actually come through here just to appreciate all the trees, all the foliage that's now in this area. And especially with the water on the ground, this area is actually really beautiful. I love it. Early on in the game, this area is kind of gross. It's just so barren. It's hard to get into and out of. You kind of want to avoid it very early on. This is actually, I think, one of the starting locations you can choose when you're starting a new game. You have a handful of starting locations. Now I always just go with the default, which starts you in what is now Anya's Lake. But I believe one of them is to start in this canyon. I'm very curious how that changes the game to start in this area. You've got all the basic resources you need on the ground, all of your iron and silicon and cobalt and all that. And there is, I think, an iridium cave on the north side of this canyon. So maybe it's not too bad. But I imagine later, before you get the teleporter, once you start needing uranium and aluminum and stuff like that, you've really got to travel pretty far to get to those things from that location. So starting out there seems like it would be kind of difficult. This is a nice little view, a different view of our base area, the area that surrounds it. Go ahead and eat our beans. I don't know why I brought so many water bottles. We can just drink water off from the ground. Let's head into this little canyony area. This is actually where I first died in the game. My first death was in this canyon. I had explored this little crashed space station or whatever it is over here, and there was a bunch of stuff, and so I left a lot of it behind. Took what I could back to my base, came back for the rest, and I forgot to hop into my little outpost to top up on oxygen, and started to head back. And I was collecting super alloy, so I was taking my sweet time, and then noticed that I'm almost out of oxygen, and just couldn't make it back to my outpost in time, so we died. That was unfortunate. But yeah, this is a pretty cool little area. There's a lot of super alloy on the ground. There's a lot of aluminum on the bottom of it, and so it's a really good place to get those resources early on in the game before you can actually start mining for them. There's several entrances and exits to that canyon, and so if we come out the west side, we're now in this big desert area with this giant crash ship that we've explored a number of times, actually. And so I'm just going to skip over this. Built a lot of tree spreaders over here. For some reason, this desert never fills in with grass or moss. It just stays sand. And so we built a lot of tree spreaders to bring some life to this area, so it's not so barren and plain. We'll keep heading west, and this will bring us around to Phineas Cave, which we never built a beacon. Curious why we didn't build a beacon over here. I thought we did. I thought we had a beacon over here. I wonder if did I like remove the beacon to move things around? Because we eventually moved our ore extractor out of the cave and put it here so it's easier to reach. And it was like right in front of our little outpost, and so I had to move the outpost. Or maybe I'm just thinking of the area lamp. Maybe I meant to build a beacon and built an area lamp instead, because, I mean, look at these two things. They look very, very similar. That's probably what happened. So this is another area that I think looks really cool and would be a really good spot to build a base, other than the fact that it's just so far away from everything else. So I kind of wish you could get the teleporter much earlier in the game, because I feel like that's the biggest deterrent to setting up bases in different parts of the map. It's just how long it takes to get around. I mean, you get the agility boost, you get the jetpack, but still, and you still have to travel that distance and set up outposts in between so you can top up on oxygen and get water. And as you need more uranium and aluminum and stuff like that, if you have to travel all the way across the map to get those things, it's just really hard to justify setting up your main base in a part of the map that's going to take you forever to get to other things that you need. This area is really cool. I really love how it looks after we set up some tree spreaders and placed all of our drills around, and we moved all of our heaters and nuclear reactors up here, put our fusion generators up here on display. This area looks really, really good. And especially from down here, if we go down to the bottom of Shannan Falls, this one tree spreader is filling this whole area with trees, and so it looks really cool. You've got Shannan Falls, you've got all the heaters and nuclear reactors up there lining the lip of this area. It's just awesome. So let's head back up to the top of Shannan Falls. And back in that corner over there is the other pulsar quartz cave, which is very deep and very difficult to navigate. So I'm not going to go back there, because I think it comes out on the other side in the big iridium crater, and we'll get there through Liz's cave. So I had to put down these area lamps outside Liz's cave just to find the entrance, because the entrance is already kind of hard to find in the daylight, but at nighttime when it's pitch black, I couldn't find it. So Liz's cave is, of course, our zeolite cave. This area is just gorgeous. I love the glowing zeolite on the ground and on the ceiling. I love the water that collects at the bottom of this later in the game. It's just such a gorgeous cave. And of course, it's an infinite supply of zeolite, which comes in super handy in the late game. If we come out this side, we come into the giant iridium crater, which is looking really cool now. We built a tree spreader down there, put a teleporter in the middle of this area. It's looking really good now that it's cleared out. Early on, when it's full of noxious gas and you can't see what you're doing and you get stuck in the geometry, it's kind of a terrifying place. I think this is also one of the locations you can select as a starting point. And my goodness, I cannot even imagine trying to play this game down here. This looks like a whole different game. It looks like I just stepped out of Planet Crafter and into some sort of fantasy RPG. Like, look at these trees and this giant iridium rock surrounded in the middle of this lake. That is amazing. That's beautiful. So I'm going to take my teleporter back to Liz's cave, just to kind of save ourselves a couple footsteps. And then we'll circle around. There's a lot of entrances and exits to this zeolite cave. We'll hop over here into the osmium cave. This is where we got a lot of our osmium. Eventually built an ore extractor in here to start mining it ourselves. This also comes out into Hot Lemon Valley. This is where we got all of our sulfur. And it looks amazing with these gorgeous trees that are growing here. What kind of trees are these? This is the Amora. That's one of the special tree seed recipes. I think that comes from the Orema flower seed. So yeah, I keep saying that these trees look especially good in this giant sulfur valley. I did not do that on purpose. It just worked out really, really well. And this leads us back to our iridium cave, where we're not going to die from oxygen deprivation. And this place is pretty cool. Once you get these vines, there's this sort of secret area up top that we never really did anything with. I thought about building a tree spreader up here, but now that I look at it, this is all rock and you can't build on the rock. So it's a cool area. There's a couple of chests around here and you can find some zeolite, but other than that, it's just sort of a thing in the game. Man, these trees right here, I think, are coming from the tree spreader that we had to move like 3 times because the trees were like overtaking our base. And that brings us back around to our base again. So that is pretty much the world that we have built. Let's head up to our command center. We built this giant tower probably about midway through the game, in part because it looks really cool from the ground, but also to give us a nice view of the world as we were terraforming it. These blue windows, they look so cool, but they're actually really hard to see through. I wish they were a little bit more transparent. And then more recently, we started to actually decorate this, make it look like, you know, a living quarter, an actual home with a bed and seating and stuff. And so I'm really, really happy with how this place has turned out in the end. It looks really nice. We've got our main teleporter up here. It's just a beautiful little base. And if we come up on the very top, we just get a really nice bird's eye view of this world. It looks so different from how you start out. It's just beautiful. All the water, all the grass, the trees. So yeah, this is the world that we built. I hope you're happy with it. I'm happy with it. For those of you who got into this game because of this series, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you play it through multiple times. If you want to join my Discord server, there's a link in the video description. And there are channels on my server where you can share screenshots of just whatever. There's one dedicated to Minecraft because for the longest time that was kind of my thing. But there's also one where you can just share screenshots of anything else. And so if you want to do that, I would love to see some pictures of some of y'all's builds and just the what you decide to do with your world. So yeah, this is going to wrap up the Planet Crafter series. I have had so much fun playing this game. I've really, really appreciated the supportive comments that people have been leaving. Really appreciate that, guys. So thank you very much for all that. And I guess, yeah, I'm having kind of a hard time wrapping things up just because I kind of don't want things to end. But yeah, we're going to wrap things up. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for joining me throughout this series. And I look forward to seeing you in the next series. Y'all take care.